Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry I couldn't talk to you earlier. Just been really busy here. I just want to let you know that I did do the Temazcal, and it was very, very, very intense. Like, I've never experienced anything like that. It's basically a structure that they cover with blankets, and they put hot rocks in the middle with like sacred herbs, and you basically stay in there. It's like a sauna, but like 100 times hotter than a sauna. And before you go in there, you take this tobacco water that's called tobaquito, and you snort it through your nose, and that's supposed to give you like energy to do this, and it also helps you center your spirit. Well, when I took it, I felt really, really good, kind of like I was microdosing on mushrooms, which was really, really, really interesting. But then once I got inside the Temazcal, that's when the magic happened. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I was in there, and in the first round of heat, because they do 4 rounds, I I set an intention to, empower myself, to help empower others, and to be equal. And so that was my intention. And well, I'm sorry, I just got a little distracted because somebody was passing by the window, and I said hi. What do you call it? So you take the tabaquito when you're going in. The temazcal is supposed to represent the womb, and it's like a structure that's mixed with Mother Earth. So it's like the womb of Mother Earth, and the way they set it up is that they put the fire going to the west, and it's aligned with the opening of the temazcal, and then the temazcal is pretty much representative of the east on the other side, the north on one side, and the south on one side, and they're supposed to like align it specifically. And so once you go in, it gets super hot. They put the sacred herbs. You sit in there and you breathe in that hot air. And so I set that intention, and it was really, really interesting because at first I started thinking about my family, like my mom and Paola, and I got like really, really emotional, and I started crying, and I couldn't like really stop myself from crying, but I really wasn't like letting out tears. It was kind of like I was crying behind my eyes. It's a weird experience to explain, and it wasn't a sad cry. It was like a really, really happy cry. Like I really love you guys, and once that feeling went away, I just got this pure bliss, like super, super happy, and it was so overwhelming. Like every time I breathed in, it felt like the spirit was just coming in, and there's such strong vibrations in my body. Like I had golden rings, kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog, all over my hands, all over my feet, and those rings were like vibrating and gyrating, and it was so intense, and it was both my legs and both my arms, and those vibrations were going through me, through the center of my chest, and just like coming straight out to the top of my brain, and it was almost like there was a light coming straight up, and that light was connected to God, and it's almost like God just went down and touched the top of my head with his finger. And once that feeling happened, it was just too much for me to handle. I tried my best to keep my cool, to stay with it, but I couldn't. It was just way too much for me, way too much energy, way too much. The heat, it was super hot in there, I'm not gonna lie, but it was more like the energy that was in me that I just couldn't handle it anymore. And I'm a little embarrassed. The human side of me is a little embarrassed because I had to tell somebody that I was about to pass out. And it's not so much that I was afraid I was going to pass out. I just didn't want to pass out and then fall into the hot rocks because I volunteered to be in the inner circle, which means it's way hotter than the outer circle. And there's two circles, one in and one out. So I was in the inner, and that feeling that I was getting every time I breathed in, like at first it was just so good, and then it was just so overwhelming that I couldn't handle it. And you know, when you have like so much pleasure that it turns into pain, that's pretty much what happened to me. And so I had to tell somebody, and like I said, the human side of me was embarrassed to say anything, but I had to because it was for my own safety. So I told one of the shamans that was there that I was about to pass out. And what's funny is that one of the guides, or one of the other shamans that was there, that was actually running the Temazcal, he told me that to lay down, but I didn't hear him, even though he yelled it at me. And it was because I was already gone. I was like on a different level, like the spirit had taken me, and I was just like, I wasn't there anymore. And everybody was telling me like, yo, just lay down, go in the back, but I just couldn't understand until like the main shaman, she told me like, hey, just go on the side, lay down, put your body to the earth will take care of you. And I did that, and she was right. And they offered me to step out of the Temazcal, and I told them no, I wanted to continue. So despite the fact that I felt super weak, I still used that weakness as a strength, and I was able to stay in there. And I stayed for the 4 rounds. We did some more tabaquito, and that like really helped me out throughout the whole process. And what was really interesting is that when I laid on the ground, like at first I was kind of resisting because it's all dirt, like there's no clean nothing, there's rocks, everything is like the earth, right? So I was laying there like with my arm like this, and little by little I just started dissolving. Like I broke down completely, and I just started like laying into the ground with my face in it. I had like dirt in my eyelids, dirt in my hair, dirt in my beard, dirt all over me. And it felt so good. I'm not even gonna lie. Like the earth took care of me, and it was almost like I was breaking down the human form and being reborn through the earth. And I was just like dissolving and returning to the earth. It's really kind of difficult to explain, but it was such a enlightening experience. And then like when you exit the, hold on, no, am I forgetting anything that I experienced? Yeah, so like when I was with the earth actually is a little bit cooler than the top part of the Temazcal. So if you're sitting up, it actually is hotter. And when you're laying down, it's a little bit cooler. But like, oh yeah, so I knew I was forgetting something. The energy was so strong that my hands started contracting and going inwards like this, and my legs were doing the same thing. It was really, really crazy. And so after I laid down, I started feeling better, and I let the earth take care of me, and I felt like I was just dissolving into the earth and becoming it. And then once it was over, we crawl out, and as I was crawling out, it's almost like animalistic because you're using all 4 of your limbs because you can't stand in the Temazcal. And once you exit, it's like you're exiting the womb of the earth and you're being reborn. And that was really cool because that's exactly how I felt. And then I have to really give thanks to the shaman that was there because she really took care of me after I voiced my concerns. And most shamans are really not that caring, and she was, and I really appreciate it. And she made sure that I was taken care of. So that was really nice of her to show me love like that. And so when I exited, I just stared at the fire, the sacred fire that they used to burn the stones, and I just stayed there giving prayers to my mom and Paola, and to my family, and to myself. So that way we can all progress and be better people. And then I was still vibrating, I was still gyrating, everything was just like it's just trying to get in line, and like little by little it did. And what was really interesting is that everybody else was super tired afterwards, but I was like energized. Even though I was the only one that almost passed out in the group, I'm the only one that, after the whole experience, was super uplifted, super energized, ready to go. Like I couldn't sleep. And when I did sleep, I was like, I dreamt about everybody that was here, which was super crazy. I even dreamt about the dogs that are here. So that was really, really cool. I found that awesome. And let me think what else. Oh, and then today, which is the following day, I woke up super, super energized, and everybody else was like super drained. So, like, that was really interesting. And what I took from it was that, I always want to go head on and, be the one that's like the most powerful or has the more strength, and I want to show off, and I want to be like, how can I put this eloquent? I just want to face everything head on, despite my fears, despite my limitations. And this just showed me that I do have limitations, and that I should respect those limitations. And I shouldn't see those limitations as a weakness, but rather use those limitations as a strength, and use them appropriately, so that way I can strive and be strong every day. And maybe I could show other people the way as well. Anyways, it was really cool, and I really liked it. And yeah, man, I feel like a different person. I was totally reborn. I love you guys.